Hello, YouTube football fans. Here we are again. Redhead takes back again with another pick'em video for the week. Last week, week 5 was terrible for me, so let's not talk about it any further. It was just bad. So let's move on to week 6. And where there's no Packer game, so there's no reason to get that pick wrong because picking the Packers is a cancer for me and for a lot of other people. They're just not worth picking at all until further notice. But if you like the video here, give it a thumbs up, share, subscribe, all that. But let's get into it. The first game of the week, we have Denver versus Kansas City. Boy, what a matchup. Denver is just dreadful, completely awful team. How they still managed to lose last week is beyond me. After everything Sean Payton said, to still lose like that to Nathaniel Hackett and Jets Robert Saleh, everybody involved is just an embarrassment. I mean, they're looking to sell a lot of pieces, everybody except Patrick Surtain second, and it's rightfully so, because clearly this team needs a reset. And for the Kansas City Chiefs, Kelsey probably won't play, or it sounds like he's questionable to play, but they should still have more than enough to win. When was the last time Denver beat Kansas City? Oh yeah, very long time ago. It's been quite a long time, and it was Patrick Mahomes has a bunch of interceptions, which is possible, I guess. They're not gonna lose. Kansas City wins 28-10, something like that, and 10 might even be a bit generous. Next, we have Baltimore and Tennessee, another godforsaken London game. Tennessee did not look great last week. Baltimore did not look great this week. Lamar Jackson has not looked good all season. Last week he had a game-ending fumble and he had a game-turning interception, and they just haven't looked good. Sure, doesn't help when receivers aren't catching the ball, but come on, you have to be better than what you did last week. In Tennessee, why they're not giving the ball to Derrick Henry every play, I don't know. He's like your one true game maker. Tannehill was not much, or I guess he has a little left, but not too much. I mean, it seems like DeAndre Hopkins, I never hear about him. I haven't heard about him at all this year, despite them trading for him. Boy, it's a pretty much a toss-up, I think. I think I'll still go with Tennessee, with banking on the fact that Derrick Henry gets in there, and throwing some Tyjae Spears as well, who looked pretty good last week in a change of pace back role. But next we'll go into Washington, Atlanta. Washington clearly is not good. They are not a good team. They have good defensive pieces, but it clearly was shown up last week. And although they have a better quarterback this year, they're still lacking. And they were unable, had they played a full game, they might have been able to beat the Bears. But since they had to come back from so much, they were not able to complete the comeback. And yeah, it's just not good. I don't think Atlanta's very good either. Sure, had that rushing attack, and yeah, Desmond Ritter won the game last week, but he's still not a good quarterback. He's not a quarterback you build around, and I think the Falcons are fooling themselves and thinking they can make him a world-class quarterback, just like the Packers and Jordan Love. But regardless, Atlanta probably wins, just because I think Washington is really bad, and we can see now that the first two games were against really bad teams, and that's why they started out 2-0. But since then, they've gotten beaten pretty badly the past couple of weeks. Next, we have Minnesota and Chicago. This is a toss-up. I mean, no Justin Jefferson, and now it sounds like Jordan Addison is questionable, so that could be a huge bust for Minnesota. Chicago, yeah, they won last week, but I still don't believe this is sustainable. The production they had last week is not sustainable. Even against a piss poor defense like Minnesota, I think their offense is going to be less successful this week. It should be a very close game. Minnesota versus Chicago usually is, but I will go with Minnesota to win 28-27. Yeah, it's a really close score, really specific, but I just don't think Justin Fields is confident enough to, or good enough to make that game last week a 2 week in a row affair. I just don't. Until he shows me otherwise, prove me, or shut up. Next, we have Seattle and Cincinnati, probably one of the better games of the week. Seattle coming up a bye. Kenny Walker has been great for them all year, and Geno Smith has had a pretty good year despite being injured. Early in that game, he came back and played well. In Cincinnati, yes, they won last week, but it's against Arizona. Jamar Chase probably doesn't repeat his performance from last week, but should still be pretty good. I like Seattle to win. They're just a better team, and I still don't think Cincinnati is out of the woods. They looked really good against a couple bad teams this year, and I do not think that means that they're back any stretch of the imagination. And they still have lots of things to work on. And Burrow just needs to keep being consistent if they want to have any chance of making the playoffs this year, and he has not shown that he can do that so far this year. So I will go with Seattle, but do not be surprised if Cincinnati wins. Next, we have Carolina and Miami. Carolina has not been good. They still haven't won this year. They're the only team that hasn't won. Bryce Young has been making strides here and there, but he still has a long way to go. They need more playmakers. Adam Thielen has been a reliable wide receiver. Have a good rushing attack. It's just their defense hasn't been too great. Had some moments, but. And then we have Miami. Of course, Miami is great. Their offense is fantastic, but now Devon Achane is out till at least week 11, so that's a huge blow, especially if you're in fantasy like me. But I like Miami to win. They have more than enough firepower to beat Carolina. If they somehow lose to Carolina, it wouldn't strike me either, just because it seems like it's that kind of game that Miami. This is the kind of game that Miami would lose, but Miami wins 34 to 14. Next we have Indy and Jacksonville. Another interesting game for the AFC South. Jacksonville coming off that win in London, even though they should have lost if Stephon Diggs had not been an idiot. And we have Indy, who has not played well, or who has played pretty well for the most part, although Anthony Richardson looks to be going to miss a month. But have no fear, Gardner Minshew is here, and he's a reliable backup quarterback. He's looked really well. Look for Indy to continue working Jonathan Taylor in to the lineup, although Zach Moss has been fantastic this year. Look for him to keep splitting them two to keep splitting carries, but obviously they're going to try and work in Jonathan Taylor more this week. Can Jacksonville win outside of London? They did earlier this year, but they had the losing streak, and then everyone thought, oh, Jacksonville's dead. They win their home away from home in London, and now all of a sudden they're back on the other side of the win-loss column. So Jacksonville, I think, wins, but it should be a very good game, 27-24, with a late minute field goal. And I hope Trevor Lawrence can continue his winning ways from London, because in the States this year he's not looked great. Their offenses just look practically slow and chugging. It needs a tune-up. But with the performance of ETN last week, maybe they can carry it over, and maybe they can back to their offensive ways of last year. Next, we have New Orleans and Houston. Another good-looking game. Probably another game that people thought early in the year wouldn't be very good, but Houston is for real, I think. C.J. Stroud had some good throws last week, but they just scored too early, and Atlanta was able to march on the field. New Orleans, again, they won 34-0 against the Patriots. Yes, the Patriots' offense is dreadful. It is awful. But they're getting no respect for that win. I mean, beating anybody 34-0 should be an achievement. And still, the Patriots still have a good defense. Sure, they're injured to hell, but they still have a great defense. Why the Saints aren't getting more talk is beyond me. Patriots are just dead on offense. Even Ramondre Stevenson is nowhere near what he was last year. Mac Jones is just a disgrace. Sounds like he's going to continue being starting quarterback, even though he was woeful last week. And with the Saints, Kamara is still working more and more. He looks to be like his old self. Derek Carr hasn't been too consistent throwing to wide receivers. Olave's had a couple of down games. Hopefully he can get back up this week, because Olave is your best wide receiver. Treat him like your best wide receiver, because he is your best wide receiver. It's not a fantasy talk, but seriously, he's your best wide receiver. He should be getting more receptions than what he did last week. Actually, the past couple of weeks, in fact. But Derek Carr is still recovering from that shoulder injury. He looks to be getting back to where he should be. I think it's going to be a close matchup. We'll see how CJ Stroud can handle New Orleans. I think this will be the first week that CJ Stroud throws his first NFL interception in the regular season. It just seems like with an opportunistic defense like the Saints, they'll pick them off somehow. But I think the Saints win 30-27. Close game. Should be a very interesting game at that, and I can't wait to watch it. Next, we have New England and Las Vegas. Las Vegas coming off the win against the Packers. And New England, like I said before, with a woeful loss to the Saints. Yeah, the Patriots, I don't think are winning this game. Devontae should be closer to where he should be. He should have a better game this week. I think that they were just trying to keep him out there last week just to work him in with his shoulder injury and keep him his misdirection, while Jacoby Myers was just unstoppable all game. Josh Jacobs should have a great game against the Patriots. I like the Raiders to win. I just don't have much to say about the Patriots. They're just a plane spinning out of control to its lingering doom. So Raiders win 24-10. Next we have the Detroit Lions and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Buccaneers coming off a bye. Who knows if Mike Evans will play? I still think Tampa Bay will have a good shot to win this game. Detroit has been fantastic. Their defense has been great. Aiden Hutchinson was a monster last week. Sam Laporta has shown he's a great up-and-coming NFL tight end. If you got him in fantasy, good on you, because he's probably doing very well for you this year. Jared Goff has been great. The Lions' rushing attack has been good. And now back to Tampa Bay. Their defense has been quietly one of the best defenses in the league. And it could be a big loss if Mike Evans isn't playing for sure. But I think Tampa Bay will put up a good fight. I think Detroit wins. I think they just have one of the best teams in the NFC and the league overall. And the Lions win 24-21. Should be a very good game to watch. And can't wait to check in on it. Next we have Arizona and LA. Arizona looked pretty well against the Bengals. They just fell apart at the end and they fell behind. LA were in it all game against Philly, and there's no reason to shake your head on that one. They have a underrated offense, and their defense has their moments. Puka Nacua continues to receive catches. Arizona, Josh Dobbs has been a surprise this year, bringing up real questions about whether they just keep him and get rid of Kyler Murray and then draft Caleb Williams next year if they're indeed the number one pick. But I don't know. It should be an interesting game. It's a divisional game. I think the Rams win 21-17, but if the Cardinals win, wouldn't be surprised either. Next we have Philadelphia and the Jets. The Jets coming off that win over Denver. Breece Hall looked great. I do not see him continuing with that trend this week against Philly's great defense. They've just been great all year. Their offense has sputtered at times, but they should get back on track this week. It should be an interesting game to watch. It's one of those last big games for the Jets before their schedule starts to get a little easier. I like Philadelphia to win. Actually, talk about the Eagles. Dallas Goedert had a great game last week. Hopefully that can continue if you have him in fantasy. I just think Philly's a better team top to bottom. Their defense is fantastic. Offense is great. Jalen Hurts is still throwing, running, and doing everything about that. He's looking great. And I think Philly wins 28-21. But it should be a good game nonetheless. Next we have the Giants and the Buffalo Bills. Giants will be without Daniel Jones, it sounds like. And with how bad the Giants have been all year, Buffalo looks to feast on this team. Though, don't be surprised. It seems like this would be the kind of game where the Buffalo Bills would fall flat a little bit. But after the game that was last week and all the injuries they suffered, it's like, God, can Buffalo catch a break on the injuries to their defense? I mean, that's the holding them back. Every year they have some huge injury on defense, and it just hurts them so bad. But Von Miller is back, and that's a big difference for their defensive line. Even though Daquan Jones, Matt Milano are probably out for the rest of the year. Hopefully, Leonard Floyd can return or be healthy enough to play along with Greg Rousseau. That would be a huge uplifting. But Josh Allen, after having a shaky first game, has looked fantastic all year long. Yes, he still has his interception problem here and all, but then again, so did Brett Favre. And Buffalo should have more than enough to win. Who knows if Saquon's going to play? That would be a big boost if he did, but if he doesn't, the Giants are just looking to survive this game and hook to week 7. So Buffalo wins 28 to, no, I think 35 to 13, something like that. And last but not least, we have Dallas versus the LA Chargers. I went back and forth on this. Dallas looked absolutely dreadful last week in San Francisco. San Francisco has pounded them into the ground unmercilessly. The Chargers, hopefully Eckler will be able to play this week. Would be a big boost. They're coming off a bye. It's in LA. Dallas looked dreadful. I don't know why Dallas just doesn't do well all the time. I mean, it's just you have one of the best offenses in the league, or one of the perceived best offenses in the league. You have CeeDee Lamb, you have Tony Pollard. Give your best players the ball. Give them the ball. Yeah, Tony Pollard had the fumble last week, but still, give him the ball. Why are you giving your backup running backs the run? Give your best running back the ball. He's probably not going to be around next year. Use him while you have him. And CeeDee Lamb did not have a great game last week. Was covered all the time. Hopefully he can improve because that would be a big boost for them. But I'll go with Dallas to win the win just because the Chargers have a way of charging the situation always. But the Chargers win again. I wouldn't be surprised because the Chargers have had their number over the years. So those are the picks for this week. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Give it a thumbs up if you like it, share, comment, all of that. No Packer game this week, so I think I will come up with another video. I'll do a tier list of horror movies. I don't know what the exact category will be, but you'll find out in the next day or so. But if you like it, like I said, give it a like. But have a great day, and as always, God